Aloha everybody, welcome back. It has been a long time since I made a YouTube video. I took the whole summer off to just play and be with my kids. We did a lot of camping. I did a lot of fishing. I did a lot of surfing. I have even been teaching my 7-year-old boy how to surf. It's been an awesome summer. But you know, it's come to a close and I thought, it's time to make some videos again. It's been a while for me and I thought I would just ease into it. Maybe for some of you who've been with me for a while, you kind of know my story already. But for those who have become new subscribers over this time, let me introduce you to a little bit of what I got going on here on the homestead. If you don't know already, my name is Sean Jennings. I've been living off-grid here in Hawaii for over 20 years. I built my own house. I've installed solar power, I have rainwater catchment, I have a composting toilet, I have a food forest in the backyard. I'm establishing more of an area to grow annuals for continual production. I have chickens. We're starting to create a pen for goats that we can milk. We are working our best to create as much food security in our life. Because even before COVID, living on an island, we're used to shortages. And so creating resiliency where you live only makes sense, right? It only makes sense. And now that we've all experienced COVID, how supply chain shortages are affecting most of us, doesn't it make sense to begin to produce more of our own stuff so we don't have to be reliant upon those things? Well, that's what I'm trying to do here. That's what this YouTube channel is trying to help you do, is more of us need to roll up our sleeves and get to work. So let me show you what's possible here on my little half acre, my mom's little quarter acre parcel, and what you can do on yours. All right, so here's a little overview of my food forest. We have the source of it all, the water being caught from the roof of my home. And beyond it, I have some bamboo growing that's just putting out fresh bamboo shoots. And the rest of the food forest starting to grow out. Got lilikoi, katuk, yacon, overgrown pineapple patch down there that's ready to harvest. Ulu tree that is starting to do its thing. Avocado trees, citrus trees, Surinam cherries, avocados, nitrogen fixing ice cream bean trees. Over here I have my bananas growing. Underneath I have a layer of perennial peanut, and in some areas I have sweet potatoes or some more kava. You can see pathways intermixed in this food forest here. And this is just on a quarter acre section of my property. And beyond the bamboo is a little bamboo house and an area where we're gonna put some goats, some chickens, and increase our food supply. And eventually, long term, we hope to get some aquaculture going and whatnot, just to increase the protein sources that we can have on this food forest. The understory is starting to be shaded out in most parts. We do have a few spots where we can get things like yacon. We have turmeric growing over there. We have a butterfly bush that the caterpillars have seemed to decimate. It's crazy how much of a bush the caterpillars can decimate. And then they can still move on and propagate and become little butterflies of their own before they starve. Because there is nothing left on that bush. And over here I have a coconut tree I planted 15 years ago, and I have been waiting for coconuts, never thinking it would ever happen. I've been adding fermented seawater onto this tree and it shows. It has really been responding. I'm about an 800-foot elevation and 6 miles away from the coast. So these coconuts are responding from that fermented seawater. Next door to that I have some avocado. More bananas, those are apple bananas there, another avocado tree. And then my shed over there is covered with lilikoi. I have my fishing kayaks. We got a pool that doubles as another water tank. Got a trampoline over there, and this little field of grass is where my kids and we play soccer, baseball, throw the ball, catch, whatever. We need a game field when you have kids. And I got some papayas growing everywhere. Here I am in front of one of my favorite spots, bananas. One of the idyllic things about living in a tropical climate is being able to grow your own bananas. And I get to grow some of my own bananas right here. And I got two really big racks that are forming up right now, getting ready to harvest. You can tell they're ready to harvest when the edges start to smooth out and round off. They don't always turn yellow, but that is a sure sign right there when your banana edges go from being sharp edged to more round, like you're used to seeing at the store, right? They're round, they don't have sharp edges to them. And so we're waiting for that to happen, and these are cooking bananas. I also have apple bananas that are almost ready to harvest, and I am starting to spread the bananas to more areas on my property. That way I can create more of a hedge for future neighbors that may encroach upon this area, and for more food, of course. I did want to show you this banana here. This is an ice cream banana. It makes for a good cooking banana, or also a good fresh eating banana. People say you can freeze it and taste just like ice cream. I personally haven't really noticed it, but these bananas produce some heavy fruit. And so what we do is take bamboo, one of the many uses of bamboo, and we create a little A-frame to hold it up so it doesn't fall down, because it tends to just fall over before the banana even gets a chance to ripen. And you want to do that before it gets too heavy, or else the banana tree will fall over, and if you try and prop it back up, normally it just creases and bends over at the stalk and you don't get the best bananas. So one thing you want to do is sometimes prop up your bananas. I haven't noticed that problem with the apple banana trees and some other species, but these ice cream bananas, they fall over all the time. Here's my little fruit tree nursery. I have a bunch of different fruit trees growing: soursop, abiu, some avocado that I'm going to graft onto, lilikoi, mountain apples, and all these trees are planned to be shared with my neighbors. I've already been sharing some of those plant starts with neighbors on my street. We have about 8 different homes now who are growing at least 2 to 3 fruit trees each, expanding our fruit production locally, where I can walk to, by about 30 fruit trees. Which is a pretty exciting thing to be able to do that. I only have half an acre, but I have neighbors, and they need food, they need landscape plants, and we need a community resiliency. So it's a great way for all of us to win-win, right? So this is my nitrogen fixing ice cream bean that gets regularly chopped, and sometimes we just drop it there. We use it for compost in the compost pile. But this tree gets chopped every winter so that the sun can come in. And in the summer, we keep it leafed out so that it could provide some shade. And underneath this tree used to be a little bit of a tree house. Now it happens to be a chicken processing center. It needs to be cleaned up, but this is where we do some of our chicken processing. And right across here, we're gonna be building ourselves a tree house that'll be made out of bamboo. We have yacon growing. This guy is looking mighty. We got some of the kalo providing the greens and the root. I got my Valencia orange tree, which tends to do pretty well every year. Let's see what I got. Got some little fruits coming. These will be ready by Christmas time. I've noticed that a lot of our fruits are ready more in the winter than they are in the summer. But we have plenty of greens to eat. There is probably about 20 pounds of potatoes under here. We have our pineapple, that loves to just get covered in weeds. So it needs to be tended to. Look at some of these guys in here. You know, this is without doing any work. These are white pineapples. You know, this guy's looking pretty good. Nice looking white pineapple, ready to harvest there. Probably if we maintained it a little better, we get some better fruit. Here's a little spot I dig right here on my property. I have down here I got some lemongrass growing beneath my lemon tree, then my Surinam cherry, and then above that an avocado tree. That avocado tree is huge, and last year it lost all its leaves because there's some sort of bug that was just destroying all the avocado leaves every year, and it is starting to do it again. There's these big brown spots that are showing up on the leaves, and I feel like it is affecting the fruit production because we're not having that many avocados this year, and unfortunately we don't have a great quarantine requirement here in Hawaii. We tend to make it harder for stuff to leave and go somewhere else, but to come into Hawaii, it is almost assured that you can bring whatever you want. And so that is why we have so many pests that are destroying so much here in the islands. A super fragile environment that is just decimated. We have ohia trees dying. Now we have fruit trees that are dying. How are we going to feed ourselves if this sort of thing continues? We need to put a stronger quarantine requirement on all stuff that's brought into Hawaii. So here's my little greenhouse behind me. I built this about right at the beginning of COVID. I wanted to increase my annual vegetable production, which really isn't that easy to do out here in lots of parts in Hawaii where you're really wet. So having a good roof and a screened cover area to keep a lot of the pests out is almost essential for certain types of plants. So yeah, this is just another room that I have on my half-acre property. We have outdoor rooms. This is where the annual greenhouse is, and just a little space to kind of hang out. Sometimes we do schoolwork out here. We read a book, we sit out in the sun, just chill. There's a bathtub full of worms where we put some worm compost, and the kids like to take care of those guys there. But yeah, just another nice little space in one corner of our property where we grow some food and we can hang out and enjoy. Let's continue on down these pathways. They just seem to weave around. I could head down this way, or I could head down this way, but watch out, dead ahead. We had a little remnants from a Halloween party we did here. There's my favorite fruit, the abiu. This plant is getting huge and I like it. I like it. And something we just did earlier this summer was install a Comfrey Border to this pathway here, with a little lemongrass lining behind it. I was trying to experiment to see if we could keep a lot of the weeds just from encroaching into this area, because I'm going to start growing a little bit of coffee. And I did plant a chocolate tree, but my son dug it out. I'll just have to replant that. I got a few more. Another spot over here we are trying to establish is our Surinam cherry hedge. I'm trying to create more of a border from this house next door. And what better way to create a border than by growing a plant that produces food. So right here we propagated some Surinam cherries by seed. It's been about 3 years and they're starting to fill in. And pretty soon they should really be filling in this spot, and we should be getting some nice food out of there. I also planted another one of my favorite trees, an abiu, and I expect that guy to grow up nice and tall. If I have to, I'll cut out this coconut tree and this crazy guy. From what I understand, it's called a peanut butter fruit. The fruit tastes like peanut butter, but you know what? It's not that tasty. And why grow something that you don't really like to eat? So if my abiu grows, I'll tell you what, this guy will be the first to go. Oh, I'm really excited about this one, cinnamon. I have this cinnamon tree growing for the past 6 to 7 years now, and this year will be the year that we cut it and we try and process it and make our own cinnamon sticks. And I'll be sure to document that in the video for you guys. It'll be super fun. I can't wait to do it. I recently have started a new banana section here. I probably planted these banana trees 6 months ago, and let me show you this. Check this out. Check out this rack growing already. This is by far the biggest rack I have grown here at my homestead. And you want to know why it's growing right in front of my compost. So the compost feeds the tree. And so what better way to stack functions than by building your compost next to a tree that is a heavy feeder. And so pretty soon I hope these trees will grow up to create more of a border to block from this house next door, which is also an off-grid house, one that I built for my mom. That's where she lives. And she has off-grid solar. She's got a water tank. She doesn't have a compost toilet. She has a regular flush toilet, but she also has a food forest that we've been developing. What I do want to show you is the start of our newest addition to our homestead. My daughter got all excited the other day because someone offered us goats, and she said she would take care of them. And you know, like all kids, how much will they really do it, right? But we want to give her the chance to milk her own goats and take the goats out for walks to eat and just be a shepherd for a little while. And if it doesn't work out, we could always sell the goat or give it away to somebody. But we're creating a little goat pen here, and I want to show you how we're making some fence posts for the fence. And because we just have rock here, it's not the easiest thing to dig into the ground. I'm talking rock. Look behind me in these cages here. This is rock that I dug out from the ground right where I'm standing. That's all we got is rock. When you dig in the ground, it's rock. And so I made these posts, these fence posts. They are as solid as can be. They are not getting knocked over. I have one here, another one back there, and I'll be putting in another one pretty soon. And we attach the fencing to these and we build our posts up like that. And it creates really solid fencing. The only thing is, it's really hard to attach a door to it. So we did install a couple wood pieces here so that we could have a nice door to enter the goat pen. So my daughter, she's getting older, and a little while ago, I built this bamboo bungalow for some friends who have since moved out. And she's now fixing it up on her own. She's painting the floor, she's cleaning it up. We're gonna do a little remodel in there. It's totally dry. We're gonna add some more bamboo wall pieces to it, and it's gonna be her own little room now where she can get away from her brother, have some peace and quiet, and also be nearer to her goats that she promises to take care of every day. So we're really excited about this new addition here. It's a very sweet spot. You can see where it is in relation here, just in a little corner of our half-acre homestead. So in order to exit this little bamboo house yard, you got to go through this bamboo trellis that's covered in lilikoi. And then there's like a little bamboo hedge. So this whole area really feels quiet. There it is. It's kind of private. You have to enter through this little arbor here to go into that yard. So it's a pretty little sweet spot on the property, tucked away in the corner where she can be happy by herself or with her friends, away from nagging parents and annoying brothers. I want to show you here one of my favorite plants, and is thriving right now, bamboo. I've got some awesome new little bamboo starts coming up right now. It's August. I'll probably harvest this one to eat. It's in a bad spot real close to the other one. This is Bambusa oldhamii. Some people in other countries call it sweet bamboo, and it is a really good bamboo for eating. You could see this one shooting up, and this is probably a little bit past harvest date for eating, but just before that, you can see how fat that guy is. That's gonna be a beautiful piece of bamboo. I'm saving him to grow. But yeah, my favorite plant on this property. I have a little bit of a bamboo nursery growing here, and eventually I'll be growing out more for everyone to share. Beyond that, I just have a little bit of wild forest area. I got some ohia trees. Unfortunately, some have succumbed to, I hope not, rapid ohia death, but because the other trees so far are looking so good. But most people around here, when they get a lot, they just bulldoze everything that is growing. They don't even give a second thought about keeping any of the native vegetation. And these ohia trees are becoming increasingly rare. We have rapid ohia death, and we also have land clearing that is rampant because of the housing boom, and they are just clearing all the lots and not leaving any native vegetation. I left at least 1/4 of my lot to native vegetation, and I'm super happy I did it. I have a good privacy buffer. I have a wildland area where I can find natural materials for certain things, and also it's just an area that I can let be and allow the native wildlife and native plants just to grow. And that's something that all of us should think about having on our homestead. I've been eating lots of eggs. We've been harvesting some chickens. I've been doing lots of fishing, and we have collards and other greens to last for days. So we've actually been eating a pretty good amount from the homestead, even though a lot is not in season right now. When it's in season, we thrive even more. I want to get more kalo growing, more sweet potatoes, more starches, so that we have more of the crops that can sustain us through lean times. Right now it's kind of the low calorie crops, but we need some of those more dense calorie crops growing if we're really going to make a difference. I'm happy to say that I'm becoming a better fisherman. This summer I've caught quite a few fish. I'm excited about my skills improving, so I know I can add to the diet off the homestead for my family here. I got plenty of chickens that I just want to get rid of, and they keep coming. The other day I found more that showed up. So chickens are of no short supply, but I want to grow more, so there's always room for improvement. And that's what I got going on my side of the fence. So let's go over to my mom's side and check out how her food forest is doing after about 6 months of initial implementation. So here's the food forest next to my mom's house that I built. So she's already harvested a rack of bananas. Some of them fell down, so they're looking a little worse for the wear. But then over here, we sprayed a bunch of mulch just directly on top of the ground, mixed in with some horse manure, and then planted our plants right in that without digging any holes. And you can see what is happening here. The comfrey is taken off, the lemongrass is taken off, the sweet potatoes especially have taken off. This bamboo that I planted is starting to take off. And I got a few ice cream beans that amazingly are getting smothered by the sweet potatoes. And unfortunately, this little Avocado tree has to be protected from these nasty neighbors. But wow, these sweet potatoes, man, you could eat greens for days off of this. All these leaves are edible. And you can see this banana tree over here, while it may not be looking that great, it's throwing out little fruits. I have a ice cream bean tree here, which will get chopped pretty regularly. You can see these awesome little mushrooms growing. What do those things remind you of? Well, they stink, I'll tell you that. Another ulu tree. This one was propagated from a root cutting from that tree next door. Looking great, by the way. And then we have ourselves an apple, angel's trumpet, some cassava, papaya in the background, and my mom's got some yerba mate. She's from Argentina. And yeah, back here we have rambutan, abiu, some avocado trees, and a little bit of pineapple and whatnot. It's a work in progress. Been gone for the summer. I plan on getting some more kalo growing in these open patches here. Time to really fill it in a little more. But you can see how it's been developing over the past 6 months. The weeds, like I said, they just come from the outside in. You can see it here, especially 6 months on, thriving, little to no work being done to keep it at this level. I hope this little tour of my food forest helped out. I'm going to be sharing more videos, hopefully back on a regular weekly schedule. Pretty soon we're going to be getting into all bamboo, but I might have a few other videos before I get into the actual bamboo building. So if you like this video, hit the like button. Until next time, ahoy. And sometimes you even find chicken eggs where they don't belong.